Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
Hey, good evening, Facebook family. Welcome to another episode of Post Daily Dose with me, your trusted parenting advisor, faithful guide, and servant on the healing journey. What's my name? Big Papa Brian+Post. Hope everyone's doing okay on this Tuesday. It is rainy here in Oklahoma. Kind of cool and kind of rainy. And so just tucked in. Actually, I did just have my mobile mechanic over looking at a couple things. So if you're in Oklahoma, Ray, the mobile mechanic, he's a solid guy. I thought I'd talk a little bit today about how to respond instead of react. Had a couple of different phone calls with some moms today, both different kind of situations. And it just made me think about during these trying times where people are unexpectedly spending a lot more time with their children than they are used to. And we are under so much social stress and confusion and unknown, all the things that create stress. And that's why one of the things I've said over the years is foster children, just like a lot of adopted children, a lot of children with trauma, require predictability, because predictability allows, it's just like a basic level of regulation to occur at your limbic system level. When you can predict what's going to happen, you don't worry, you don't have anxiety, you don't have stress. And so just like right now, socially, our inability to predict what's going to happen is creating a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress at many, many levels. So just thinking in terms of how to respond as opposed to react, I want to talk about that for just a bit. So here's the thing. A response requires conscious thought, and a reaction is without consciousness. Hey, Leslie, it's been a rough day. I'm sure it has. And so, yes, continue to breathe. A reaction doesn't require thought. A reaction is automatic, comes from your limbic system, and it is a reaction to a perceived threat. And so the important piece about this, I'm actually going to make this pretty short because I think I can condense this and give you something to really think about. When you are reacting, it's because you are seeing a threat. You are walking into a situation and you are not paying attention and you're not mindful to the environment around you. So a lot of times you're not attuned. And if you're stressed and if you're in survival, your attunement radar is dialed way down. So you're walking into these scenarios in your home, you're going into these day in, day out kind of things with your children in a very unconscious way. You're not thinking, your mind is not full of who your child is, or even full of who you are. What are the things, like I know a mom who had a pretty traumatic, hey, Stefan from the Netherlands, had a pretty traumatic experience as a teenager. And now her child, anything unexpected just knocks her right out of her body. Well, that's a dissociative response, and it's common with shock trauma. And so if you're not mindful, if you don't wake up full of mind of your own sensitivity to your children's stress reactions, then you're setting yourself up and you're setting them up to have a reaction and to not be conscious. The way to respond as opposed to react is to have a mind full of who you are and who your child is in any given moment. If you walk into, so if I walk out of this room right now, and the first thing I'm thinking about is fixing myself some dinner and turning on a Netflix show and making myself a big glass of lemonade and sitting down and eating and watch TV. And I'm giving no thought to what my child is doing, who my child is, what my child's experience, what my child's needs are, then I'm completely mindless. I am mindless of who I am as a parent and as an adult, and I am mindless of who my child is. especially in these times, but I really teach this stuff for parents all the time, especially in the times of who your children, your day-to-day, who your children are. You have to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is how you respond instead of react. When I walk out of this door and I'm thinking, okay, where is my child? Has my child eaten? It's the same thing you would do if your child was an infant or if your child was 2 years old. See, a lot of times the stress and the reactions you're dealing with from your child and the reactions you're having from your child are actually under 5. It's from like 0 to 5. I'm not going to say instead of 0, I'm going to say in utero to 5, because there's all kinds of chaos that gets wired in from the conception to about the age 2 to 3. That's all pre-verbal and it's all emotional. It's all chaotic. And so then you have another couple years on top of that. So most times when you are in a high level of reaction, which means you're in a high level of stress, a high level of limbic activity, it's because you're in that conception to 5 state of your brain. And that is a brain state. When you stress, you regress. So when you are not being full of mind, when you are not practicing mindfulness about who my child is, where my child is, when my child ate, what my child needs, when was the last time I connected with my child, when was the last time I made eye contact with my child, touched my child, smiled at my child, made sure my child had food, then I'm not mindful. And so then I get caught off guard. So I go in a mindless way, I go fix my food and I'm eating, and all of a sudden I hear my kids yelling from the other room, and immediately I start to get stressed. See, as soon as I start getting stressed, I'm reactive. Even if I do that whole thing where I go fix my food, my lemonade, and I'm watching a Netflix, and my kids start screaming, I'm initially going to become reactive. But if I've been practicing mindfulness about who my child is, what my child needs, like who my child is when they regress, then I'm going to immediately come back to that. I'm going to take a deep breath, and then I'm going to get up. Because I've taken that deep breath, I'm already regulating myself. I'm going to go connect with my child. I'm going to go find out what's going on. I'm not going to get overwhelmed by the situation. I'm going to assess the situation with a clear mind, with logical, rational thought, and an active short-term memory, and I'm going to be able to respond instead of react. That's the magic. The magic is in the moments before. It's not in the moments during. It's not in the intervention. You're not good enough to just go into the intervention and handle the situation. You're learning. You're new to regulation. You're new to oxytocin. You're new to being able to match your children's emotional reactions with a response. So if you wait until the intervening moments, you're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be stressed, and that's the vibration you're going to send. Your own state level memories are going to be stirred up, and you're going to be sending out that vibration that's just going to amp up their vibration. You've got to practice prevention. You respond instead of reacting. Access the magic in the moments before the scenario ever happens. So you've got the ability to access the magic before the scenarios ever happen. Be thinking about it now, right now while you're watching me. What is your child doing? How are you feeling? Where are you at? When's the last time they ate? When's the last time you ate? When's the last time you took some deep breaths? When's the last time they took some deep breaths? When's the last time you hugged them, kissed them, rocked them, played with them? When's the last time you took a bubble bath? When's the last time you listened to some music? When's the last time you did something to take care of yourself? See, that's the magic. It's in the moments before, not in the moments during. So practice connecting to yourself in the moments before, and then being more mindful, more aware of them in the moments to come. And then that's where you learn how to respond instead of react. And I think that's going to be good for you guys. If you'll just meditate on that, focus on that, and think about that. Remember the A to Z principle. All severe behavior is predictable. It's when our attunement radar is dialed down that we stop paying attention. When you stop paying attention, that's when you get caught off guard. Pay attention. Breathe and be mindful. Remember, in any given situation, we always have 2 choices. We can continue to react from the same blueprints of stress, fear, and overwhelm, or we can stop. We can slow down. take 3 to 10 deep breaths and choose love. And I hope you choose love. God bless you. Big Papa loves you. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.